Happy special 12/12 full moon in Gemini. This full moon becomes exact on Thursday, December 12th at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wow. Which is also, of course, 5:12 Greenwich Mean Time. Obviously, this is an extra special moon as it is occurring not only on 12/12 but exactly at 12:12 a.m. in New York. I mean, wow. Naturally, let's investigate the meaning of the number 12 and what it means for the energy that's surrounding this full moon. 12 is a number of completion and is a very significant number in the universe. In fact, there are 12 signs in the zodiac, and purportedly the original humans had 12 strands of DNA before 10 of them were turned off. 1212 is a code that activates us into our Merkabic field according to Merkaba mysticism. The Merkaba is our vehicle of ascension that is carrying us forward on our journey to complete this third dimensional experience and move fully into a fifth dimensional and higher experience. In conventional culture, the December full moon is referred to as the cold moon, though I would rather refer to this particular one as the ascension moon. The code of 1212 on 1212 represents the completeness of the ascension journey that is inherent in all of us, regardless of where we are in our individual process. Each and every one of us has the tools to become an ascended master. In fact, it is the destiny for all of us. The twists and turns we take as an incarnated physical being, well, this is the exciting part that is entirely unpredictable and completely unique for each of us. My recommendation is to use this 1212 portal as an opportunity to celebrate. And here's why. Because it's the Gemini moon. Gemini loves celebration. Gemini loves interaction and spending time with other reflections of you, right? Other reflections of you that are incarnated here on the planet. Celebrate the liberation of planet Earth. Celebrate your highest destiny. Celebrate the good friends and families you do have. With the moon fully illuminated in this social festive Gemini, and many around the world, including here in New York, getting excited for the holidays, it is a great time to be social and to give more hugs than usual. And it's a good time to reward yourself or have a treat, bake a pie or eat something that maybe, if you've been good for a while, your diet's been great, have a little treat. It's a good time to celebrate. Celebrate especially with other people. Gemini is inviting you to break out of your shell and to look outside of the box for solutions. If you've been struggling with a problem for a while, you may find a new resource or a new person even coming to you around the time of this full moon that will give you a fresh perspective and help you to resolve whatever difficult situation you've been given. The constellation of Gemini forms twin humans, traditionally seen as twin brothers. These twins represent an energetic exchange between people. It represents the social factor that is inherent in the game that we've been playing on Earth for thousands of years. It's never just been one being here incarnated, it's many beings, and part of the whole purpose for exploring this third dimensional frequency is to experience all of the different themes of social interaction, the dark and the light, the pain and the joy. It's important to remember that it's totally okay and in fact pretty much necessary, at least at several points in your life to get help, receive help from others. I know that this seems like such a lonely journey much of the time. However, when the moon is in Gemini, it really feels like we're all in this together. I know that so many of us lightworkers feel isolated. We're living in a world that, for the most part, doesn't understand us and even might think we're crazy, even though we just really want to see everyone be healthy, happy, and free. So many of us are in partnerships or families where no one really understands us. For many of us, the closest thing we have to feeling a true sense of family are other light workers we find on the internet. This is just the reality of what it's like to be at the very forefront of the most important movement in the history of planet Earth. The most important movement ever in the history of planet Earth, bar none, is this ascension. 4 planets in Capricorn causing us to get realistic about relationships. So we have a huge Capricorn influence going on right now. And it's interesting because I've been thinking a lot about 2020 the past week or so, and I've been starting to do some of my 2020 previews for the various outlets that I do work with. And it's this year coming has this huge Capricorn influence because for the entire year, pretty much, we have we have Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in Capricorn. And what it means is that 2020 is really going to ask us to get realistic, grounded, and to deal with whatever life is presenting us. It is the year where we're going to have any structures that are not really supporting our future, especially our next 10 years, get broken down in order so that we can rebuild. It's like whatever house we've built that has kind of been working for the past 10 years, but it really isn't working. We need a storm to come and metaphorically blow down this house so we can start from scratch and start to build a new one that is going to really support who we want to be physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in the 2020s. So that influence has really started now with all these planets in Capricorn. And with Venus in Capricorn, what we are seeing, as I've been talking about in a lot of the recent full moon and new moon updates, is a lot of couples kind of having this make or break moment in their relationship where it may be a lot of relationships are reaching their conclusion, and that's just the truth of it. And especially with this Venus in Capricorn influence now on top of the 3 other planets, as I mentioned, in Capricorn, people who are in long-term relationships are really being asked to get super honest, realistic, and practical about their relationships and whether it still fits into their future. And I'm not saying that all relationships are ending. That's not the truth at all. It's just many are. Many relationships are ending, especially at the end of this year, going into 2020. A lot of couples are finding that there's been kind of a tug of energy within them for a long time, but now it's like the universe is really showing them the exit point. And it may be happening either now or it may be happening sometime in early 2020. And we also have, of course, eclipse season beginning. So eclipse season, the best way to quantify when does it begin and end is about 10 days before and after the first and last eclipse of this particular eclipse season. So this is the last moon before eclipse season begins, so we can say that around December 16th is really the official beginning of eclipse season. And eclipse season is a time where we are being upgraded on a soul level. It's like if we take the rest of the year outside of eclipse season, that time is when we're really integrating everything we've learned from eclipse season. So it's as if we spent the past 6 months integrating all the energy shifts that happened in the most recent eclipse season back in July. So this eclipse season is going to set the tone for the next 6 months. So this is going to really set the tone for 2020. And I'm definitely going to talk way more about eclipse season in my next new moon update, which will be the first eclipse of this eclipse season. But just to give you a little bit of a preview, what you want to think about is you want to think about, all right, 2020, what do I feel is kind of on the horizon for me? And if there is, taking into account those positive things that are on the horizon for me in 2020, what has to be taken away from my life in order for that to manifest? So think about that. Think about everything you really want in 2020 and beyond. What has to be taken away first? Is it certain beliefs? Are there certain beliefs that are holding you back? Are there certain thought patterns, behaviors that are holding you back, addictions? Are there certain people in your life, a certain relationship? Is your living situation holding you back? Is your job holding you back? Is your financial situation holding you back? Is your physical health holding you back? What is holding you back right now? And whatever's holding you back is what needs to be broken down so the future that you really want can come to you. And I know a lot of this is easier said than done. We can say, okay, I need my health better, I need my finances better, I need, my relationships better, but how, right? Well, the magical thing about eclipse season is you may be shown during eclipse season what really needs to happen. And for some, it may be a courageous choice that needs to be made. It may be, if you have a health issue, you may need to undergo a new therapy. You may find that therapy over the next few weeks here. If it's a relationship, as we already said, you may find that relationship ending. If it's a job situation that's no longer working, you might start to feel really, really pushed by the universe, pushed into a corner. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel overworked. You might feel completely unvalued in what you're currently doing. And that push from the universe, that caging you in, is going to be what really hopefully motivates you to shift into something better. And a lot of times when people's work situation really isn't working for them, it's because there's a big change that needs to happen. There's a big step forward that the universe is really hoping for you to take. And that is true for a lot of people. For other people, it may be in coming more into alignment with gratitude and being grateful for what you do have, and that you are able to earn an income and you are able to provide for yourself or your family or whoever you're responsible for. Because not everyone is, not even close. A lot of people aren't able to provide adequate nutrition for themselves even, right? So a lot of times it's a big leap forward that needs to happen, and other times it's more of a subtle change in your outlook on things. But eclipse season will be really good at showing you exactly what needs to be shaken up in your life, and it will give you a preview of how it will get shaken up if you are willing. And a lot of times, even if we're not willing, the universe is going to give us exactly what we need anyways, and the universe is going to shake things up no matter what. But if we are willing, we can get ahead of it, and we can say, I'm going to make these necessary changes now before the universe forces me. I'm going to make these changes right now. I'm going to work on my subconscious mind. I'm going to do affirmations. I'm going to work on my physical health. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to start juicing. I'm going to take supplements. I'm going to have that talk with my beloved or my former beloved and say, you know what, is this really working? Capricorn doesn't it I don't want to be doom and gloom about all relationships and say they're all ending, but what Venus and Capricorn and all the other Capricorn influences will ask us is to just be really honest and be really real about things, and sit down with your partner and say, "All right, what isn't working? What are you feeling? What am I feeling? You know, is this working financially? How can we make this work better financially? How can we communicate with each other better? What do we need to do here?" You know, if you both still want to make it work, then it's just as important to have that conversation than if one of you or both of you is feeling like, I think this is over. You know, so be really real, and all of 2020 is going to be asking us to be real about our lives, to deal with the stuff, clean up the house, literally and figuratively. Literally clean your space, and figuratively, whatever in your life has to be dealt with, you have to deal with it in 2020, or else things are going to get really uncomfortable. And things might get uncomfortable anyways. We never know what's in store for us in life, and a lot of times we just, actually most of the time, we can't really ever predict, when we're going to run into difficulties, whether it's health or finances or relationships or career, or whatever it is. But we can always look back. We can always look back later after we've kind of made it through the worst part, and see how we were able to learn and grow from any difficult circumstance. There's always something that can be learned. And there's always something that the soul intends for you to learn. Your soul never puts you into a situation just to see you suffer. It doesn't happen. It never happens like that. There's always a deeper meaning. Sometimes it's not as simple as this lifetime. A lot of times these are karmic things that stem from past life karma that needs to be balanced and worked with. And that's something that's a lot harder to kind of identify. But it is something that I do help people to understand when I work with them one-on-one, is the karma that is being balanced here. And either way, though, whether a difficulty that you have to go through is karmic, or if it's something that was just kind of planned for this lifetime, and usually it's both, right? Usually it's karmic and it has to do with the present moment. Either way, you always get to choose how you alchemize it. You get to choose whether you let something destroy you, or whether you let it make you stronger. And that's a very masculine statement I just made, right? But it's so true. It's absolutely true. It doesn't matter what the situation in life is. It can either destroy you or make you stronger. The universe and your higher self and your soul hopes that it makes you stronger, but you have the free will to choose which way. And it all boils down to your attitude, your thoughts, your beliefs. That's why working with the subconscious mind and working with affirmations is so crucial. We can sometimes we try to work on things consciously over and over and over again with little success. But when we use some sort of modality, whether you work with me or you work with someone else, or you do hypnosis tracks, or you do subliminals, or whatever, when you start to work with the subconscious mind, it makes it much easier then to shift everything. Because the subconscious is the program that's always running, and we're fighting against the subconscious when we try to change the way we've been for a long time, and we don't have the momentum to do it. It's very difficult, but it is possible. It is possible. It just requires working a little bit with the subconscious, and it also requires repetition. It requires doing something over and over again, So whatever it is you're looking to change in your life, work with it on several levels. Work with the subconscious, work with affirmations, and also continue to just employ new tactics every day, new rituals, new healthy supportive habits are so crucial. And Capricorn loves that. Capricorn loves having those healthy habits that you do every day. That's a really Capricorn thing to do. And we can start now. We can start now even, we still have the sun here, of course, in Sagittarius, right? Opposed by this Gemini moon. And, the sun in Sagittarius, of course, wants us to explore. So part of exploring, and Gemini wants us to also explore. Gemini wants us to interact, right? Sagittarius kind of wants us to explore up there. Gemini wants us to interact down here on the Earth, right? So this is also a good time, especially with this 12-12 portal, to explore different options for things you want to do in 2020, different changes you want to make in your life. Do some journaling. Do some journaling around 2020 and just some possibilities, Are you thinking of a move? Are you thinking of a career change? All the stuff we talked about. Do some journaling on that. And figure out, what it is that you most want out of life. What do you most want out of life? What is that one thing you most want out of life, right? Think about that. For me, I would say the word that I most want out of life is a sense of completion and contentment. And I feel like I'm just getting started. And I know that personally, all of the difficulties that I'm going through behind the scenes, it's all, I know, first of all, it's all helping me with my teaching to others. And that's part of the development of a healer. And I know so many of you listening to me are healers yourselves. And just remember that whatever you're going through in your personal life, there's always something that the universe is helping you to learn that you then can apply to your work with clients. It's fascinating how it happens like that. We want to think that we can learn everything from books and from our channelings and our meditations and all that, and we do learn so much, but perhaps the biggest lessons that we're able to convey to our clients is what we learn from our own personal lives, from the stuff that we're dealing with behind the scenes as we're also a healer. The truth is every healer, no matter how high of a level they seem, everyone has something they're going through behind the scenes. Something. For a lot of people, it's minor things. Minor little tweaks here and there, right? But for others, there's stuff going on, And I know this because I have stuff going on in my own life, and I know this because at least half of my clients are healers who have stuff going on in their lives, right? This is why, one of the teachings of Gemini is to let others help you. Reach out to others. We don't need to keep everything in, so we're feeling like it has to be so personal. And yeah, of course, your personal, difficulties seem so personal, but when you allow others to help you, first of all, it makes others feel good to reach out and help. It really does. I mean, as long as you're not, pressuring someone who really doesn't want to help you, then that's a different situation. But especially for light workers, people like to help. They do. They like to listen. They like to help for the most part. And it feels good. And it gets them. When you let someone help you, it gets them out of their own personal issues, whatever they're going through, right? So this is one of the other teachings of Gemini, is just to allow others to help you. Allow others to be there for you. Allow people to hug you. Allow people to help you in whatever way, whether it's a professional manner, reaching out to someone for a session, or if it's just talking to someone and just communicating, because this is an individual and a collective ascension journey. We are ascending individually, and we all have our very personal processes that is very unique to each and every one of us. And at the same time, this is a collective journey where all of us collectively are moving through different issues and lessons, right? And each issue and lesson that one of 7.8 billion of us go through. There's 7.8 billion different stories on this planet, and that's just the humans, right? 7.8 billion different life plans, 7.8 billion different circumstances and sets of difficulties. And as we move through those difficulties, whether we succeed at first or we takes repeated lessons, however long it takes to move through those lessons, we're contributing that learning to the collective consciousness of humanity. And that's what's helping us to ascend. You see, you have to remember that ascension is not as simple as the good aliens coming down, landing everywhere on the White House lawn and on every government building's lawn all over the planet, and declaring peace and declaring that the cabal has been taken out and that everything is hunky-dory now. It's not that simple, because this is a spiritual game that is being played on this planet, both individually and collectively, and every person's specific lessons has to be worked through. This is why it's not going to happen right away, and I'm sorry to say it. It's not going to all be resolved on this planet by the end of 2020. It's not. It will not be. It's going to take a lot longer, and part of the reason is that everyone has this specifically formed life plan with specific karma that needs to be balanced and specific lessons that need to be worked through, and it's part of the ascension game. It's part of the ascension game, and every person out there who is not awake yet will be awake at some point, whether it's in this body or they come back to wake up. But every single soul that's involved in this earth game will wake up here. Okay? That's what the ascension is all about. It's about everyone waking up. That's just my perspective, my belief. It's about everyone waking up. Okay? When it happens is up to that soul. And it's also up to the free will of the person sometimes too. But everyone is on the right track. It's just that some people are more awake than others. And as we continue to work through our lessons as light workers, we send that vibration out to help others around us start to wake up. And we got to play the long game here, okay? 2020 is a very important kind of a portal year, all right? It's a 4-year numerology, but it's also a 0 year in the decade, right? It's setting the stage for the rest of the decade. So the 2020s are going to be so exciting, and the planet is going to look so different in 2030, but don't expect it all to happen in this 1 year. It's not going to all happen in 2020. Anyways, to sum it all up, Gemini, full moon, 12/12 portal. It's the ascension portal. Visualize your highest possible path. Visualize the life you want to live. Celebrate with others, and reach out to others for help. It's a great time to download solutions to anything you're going through. And be willing to reach out to others, ask others for help, and to help others as well with their issues. So thank you everyone for listening. This is Matthew John. If you're not familiar with who I am a spiritual teacher, spiritual healer, intuitive healer, international speaker, Starseed guide, and quantum energy healer, working directly with the Ascended Masters. I'd love for you to check out my website. It's youaredivinehuman.org. youaredivinehuman.org, all spelled out. And you can check out my library of videos and articles, and also you can check out all that I offer as far as private sessions worldwide over phone and Skype. And in the spirit of Gemini, as I said, if there's something I can help you with, please reach out. I'm happy to answer brief personal questions for free, of course, as long as it's not something that is going to require a reading. If it's something complicated that requires a reading, I will ask you to book a reading. But if it's something quick, absolutely, I'm happy to help you with whatever it is. And I'd like to let you know about my spiritual mentoring program. And I am taking on new people to get started in January. December is sold out, but January I am taking in new clients. And I have a 4, 5, or 6 session package. And you can check out all the options on my website. Again, it's youaredivinehuman.org. Click on private sessions and scroll down to where it says spiritual mentoring, awakening coaching. And I'll just go over real quickly the 4-session package. We do a 90-minute soul plan reading and spiritual mentoring session where I'm connecting in with my guides to read your life plan, read your life lessons, and to interpret your past, present, and future from the eyes of the soul, to interpret your karmic relationships and let you know what karma is being balanced, and to see your highest possible life plan and how you can get there, how you can manifest that highest possible life plan. In the second session, we do a 90-minute soul retrieval, inner child healing, cord cutting, and quantum energy healing session. So we're going to work on you on from a lot of different angles, and it includes an energy healing, as I said, for your chakras and also for your aura, cleaning up your aura. Anything in your aura that you don't need, we're going to clean out of there. The third session, we do an intuitive nutrition reading, which is for your physical health, and it's like a medical intuitive reading, going to give you a plan moving forward, an 8 to 10 page report with a plan to move forward with your physical health, with supplements, and with diet. Chakra scan, and also a 2 to 3 page chakra report. And then in the fourth session, we do a Starseed discovery session where you get to take an astral journey to your home planet if you are from the stars. If you're not from the stars, we'll find out where you're from. Some people are not just from the stars, but they're literally a planet. But we'll find out exactly where your galactic origins are and what it all means. And you also get 2 bonus webinars that you can do on your own time, putting the past in the past and mastering your intuition. And you get unlimited email support between each session, and as well as homework. That's the 4-session package. 5-session package is all that, plus a past life regression where you get to travel to between 1 and 3 lifetimes, and also to the space between lives. And we intend to take you to the most relevant past lives for whatever you're going through in your life now. And then the 6-session package has all that, plus the future life progression, where you get to travel in your astral body forward in this lifetime to experience your highest possible path in specific increments, like 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ahead. And it's really fascinating to see. You also get 4 additional webinars with that: a deeper level of forgiveness, awakening the divine masculine, navigating the dark night of the soul, and dissolving the ego. So you can check out the options again on my website, youaredivinehuman.org. Click on private sessions and go to spiritual mentoring, awakening coaching. I do also offer all of these different sessions individually. So if a package doesn't work for you, then you can just start with one. And a lot of people like to do that. And again, I am taking on new people for January right now. So if you have any other questions, on my website, there's a tab on the bottom right corner of the screen. It has my picture. It says Matthew John. Have questions, ask Matthew. All you got to do is click on that tab and type in your question and your email, and I'll get back to you, usually within 24 hours, but actually often quicker than that. Okay? So thanks for listening, everyone. I really do appreciate it. Please comment down below, and please, of course, like and subscribe. And I will talk to you next on the new moon and eclipse. Happy full moon in Gemini. Happy eclipse season, everyone. Much love.